Welcome back, everyone. This is going to be part 6 of the 400EX Rebuild Restore. I got the rest of my parts in. I'm going to go over them real quick with you and show you what I got. So first box here, these are the new chain guides, diamond chain guides. And this one is not broken. The end piece right there is still on it. So that's what it's supposed to look like when it's new. And here's the other one. Brand new. It's got different color there. But those are in, ready to install. Put those in there, set those aside. See what's in this box here. This is the new camshaft. Much better shape than the one I took out, that is for sure. So that's excellent. We can put that in now. I'm not going to wrap that all up. Just stick it back in the box. Set that aside. And what do we got here? This is the new timing chain. I can put that in now. That's good. This is the engine gasket set that I'm waiting on to finish the top end. The one problem is that when I got it in the mail, the head gasket did not make it in one piece. Well, it's in one piece, but it surely isn't usable. So I called the company that I ordered the parts from, and they're sending me a new head gasket. So assembly on this is probably going to take a little bit longer because now I need a new head gasket. Anyway, let's see what else we got. And this is the new rocker arms. Take out 2 of those. Those are in nice shape, huh? Got brand new adjusters. Need to be cleaned up a little, but man, you can really see the difference there. Let me let's see what's in this last box. Alright, we got the old head here on the bench. Let's start disassembling it. Take the end caps off. They'll come off fairly easy. Side. Look at that. You guys can see it. There's a dead bug in there. I'll hit these on the Y wheel. Make them look better. They'll clean up. Alright. See about which one do we want to take off first? Let's start with these. Let's do it in the front here. I must have some Loctite or something on here because this is really hard coming out. And I'll put blue Loctite on all these screws just to make sure they don't back out. So here's the first one. Dropped the washer. I did. This one on the back side here. I don't really see anything on the front side. Alright, that's the first one. Let's take the second one apart. Really not good. Well, wow. Let me flip it over, get better leverage. There isn't there's no washer on you, only on one side. Let me grab my flashlight real quick. See that? There's only a washer on one side of it. And they are marked in for I would say, intake side. And these are B, A and B. Winding this out. So I think that all this stuff here looks Alright, let's move on. Back. So the A is opposite the chain, timing chain side, and the B is on the timing chain side. So we'll take a note of that. Let's try to loosen up a couple more. Back the way it was. The other side. Now we gotta take out the big ones in the middle. And hopefully they'll cooperate. Find these out. Pull out slowly, so don't lose anything. Yeah. I don't see the washer. Let's see what we got. Yeah, we don't have any washers in this. Alright, so one is near the timing chain. On the exhaust side. Let's see if this one here has got a number on it. That is A. There's the shaft. So let me put this back in. Where they were. Let's pull the other one. So these are the old rockets. I'm sure you guys can remember when I took them apart. So I wire wheeled the caps, cleaned them all up. They look much better than they did. I'm going to replace the O-rings on here. I have new O-rings to put on there. Tensioner, that's the tensioner gasket. I have the two copper gaskets for the head pipe and all that. So I'll replace all that. Let me just give you an idea of how bad these are. So let me just pull this one off. So this is the new one, and you can see how nice and shiny it is, smooth. And this is one of the older ones, and you can see how worn out it is. So when you look at the side profile here, you can see that there is I don't know if you guys can see it or not. There's an arc to it. See the arc? And look at one of the older ones. It's almost flat. So they're completely worn out. They need to replace them. So I was looking at the engine parts and I was trying to figure out why this happened to the top end. Because from what I understand, it's not very common to have the journals for the camshaft wear out like that. And what I came up with was the Baron. That Baron on that camshaft. Let me go grab it. So here's the old quick camshaft. Compare it with the new one. And here's the new one. And you can see just how bad that's worn. It's just really, really worn bad. The reason why this journal here, actually this cam lobe is as worn as it is, you can see it. It's got a flat spot right on the top. I mean, there's no smooth transition on this thing at all. It's this Baron went, and it was continually ridden with the Baron bad, and it just destroyed the entire valve train. Not the valves themselves, but the rockets and the camshaft and just about everything in the top end of the motor got ruined just because of the camshaft Barons going. So my advice to everybody out there, if you're going to go and adjust your valves on an EX400, check your Barons on your camshaft while you're in there, because you don't want this to happen to your engine, because this is quite a pricey fix, replacing all these parts. They're not cheap. So I think what I'm going to do at this point is, we got the new head here, new valve cover. So I got the brand new valve cover here, and you can see in here that these are pristine. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to assemble this. Alright, let's do some assembly. Put a little bit of oil on this. Again, that's 10W40, what the bike calls for. And I am going to put this in here. I'm going to place in brand new rocker. And they go in a certain way. The way they go in is childproof. Alright, got some oil in there. I'm going to put some oil, drag some through, force that in there. Some here, some here. I'm going to replace the next one in on the far end. I hit these pots with brake clean, so they're already clean. Alright, the old one's out of the way. Let's put a little bit of blue Loctite on here, just to make sure that we get a good seal. I mean, make sure it doesn't vibrate out. Not a lot, just a tad, enough to give us a grab. And I don't have a torque wrench bit for Allen's, so I'm going to torque them tight as hell. That's my torque. Alright. Good. Give it a look. The rockers are in there. I'm going to put a little bit more oil down inside. We got a fighting chance on startup. Alright, one done. Let's do it. Hit him with some brake clean. It looks like there might be some cosmoline on these or something. Looks like there might be like a cosmoline on there, some type of a rust preventative or some type of coating. I want to get that off of there before install. Now, stuff out this one. This is the front one. And when I took this apart, I put everything back together the way it came out, so as not to confuse anything. You guys see what I'm doing here? Get my big arm out of the way. First side's in. Side number 2. Number 2's in. Pull this washer back. tab of Loctite. We'll run it in. Those are not coming out. Alright, as you can see, we have the rockets in, and I'm just going to put some oil in there, down in there, down in there, down in there, as you can see. Working back and forth a little bit. Alright. Now I just have to install the valve tappers. 2 here, and then 2 here. So this is the intake side. This side of the engine is the intake side. And I'm going to turn the camera off right now and install those 2. But you guys got a pretty good idea of how these go in now. And I'll turn it back on when I finish. So I was going to come back and show you when it was finished, but it's actually 3 days later. I went to screw the rockers into the side and I came up with a problem. And I want to just go over what that was with you guys before I proceed. So the rockers that I already installed are fine. They move nice and free. They're in good shape. No worries. The ones I went to decide on, the ones I went to install on the sides, these 2 and these 2 up front. What I found out was they didn't fit. When I screwed them in, the rockers wouldn't move. They were locked solid. They would not rotate. So I spent probably an hour trying to figure out what was going on here, and I grabbed the other head, the other valve cover, and I checked all the dimensions. You know, I used verniers, checked all the dimensions for the 4 rocker points, and the conclusion that I came up with was that these counter bores were 25 thousandths deeper than the one I took off, and these counter bores were 60 thousandths deeper than the ones I took off, and the ones on the old valve cover. So because of that, the rocker pin was going in too far, and this shoulder was pushing against the rocker itself, forcing it into this back wall and wedging it and not allowing it to move. And not only that, these seated, they were really hard to move the rocker. The wave washer was completely flattened out, and the front wouldn't even seat. There was a good 60 thousandths gap between the brass washer and the face of that counter bore. So what I did was I did all the dimensions. I figured out what the error was between the 2. I don't know why that happened. Maybe I got unlucky and got something somebody made on a Friday before a long weekend. I have no idea. But in order to fix the problem, what I did was I took these and I had them ground back. I had these ground back. I don't know if you can see it. 25 thousandths. And they had the short ones ground back 60 thousandths. So let's see how it worked. So we'll do the front ones first. I'll put one in, and then I'll come back when I get the rest done. And that's only because I don't want this video to be super long. Right. Yep. And I need a short pin. I'll show you the pin. You can see where it was ground back. All right. A little bit of oil. A little oil in the pen. Brass washer on. Put the rocker in. And the wave washer. I'm going to put a little bit of glue Loctite on this as well. It's kind of more than a little, but I don't want it to come out. I'll turn it down. Up the excess, and as you can see, it moves nice and free. And that wave washer right there, as you can see in there, see how it you do have some play, and that's what you want. So now it's nice and free. So that's what I had to do on this one. Again, I don't know what happened, but it took me a while to figure out what I had to do to get it right. Hopefully none of you guys will ever have to deal with this problem. It's probably what happens when I don't get a OME pot. That's probably what happened here. But anyways, fix the problem. I'm going to continue to assemble. I'll come back when it's done. All the rockers are installed. As you can see, they're moving pretty good now. Nice. Moving nice and easy. We should definitely have a very nice valve train now. The caps, I hit them on the wire wheel. They look a little better. I also installed new O-rings. So I'm just going to put these on here for now. Keep dirt out. I'm not going to tighten them up. Alright. And we have this one pin here that we got to install here. And it's pretty loose, so I guess we'll install it in the head. Where does it go here? A little bit loose. Not good. Alright. Guess that's it for now. Alright, we're going to install the timing chain and the new guides today. I'm going to try to take the oil pump off and not the gears. That'll just make things easier, I think. I want to inspect it anyways just to be sure that there's nothing wrong with it at this point. So I'm going to pull that off now. And this gear just slides off. It can only go on one way because it has a flat on it. So there's no, you don't run a risk of putting it on the wrong way. without removing the gear, and we cannot. So that is not fun. Alright, let me pause for 1 second here. Alright, we're back. I'm going to stick a pry bar in there so that in case this thing spins, I don't lose a finger. And I'm going to hit it with my impact. There we go. And it's marked out, so we'll remember how that went back on. And there's the timing chain gear itself. We'll slide that out. And that can only go on one way as well because it has a flat area there. So there's no risk of putting this on the wrong way. Alright, let's pull this chain out of here. Now, it doesn't look bad, but you can never tell by looking at them whether they're in good shape or not. And I'm seeing damage on that. So I'm almost thinking that this thing was rattling around in here. Let's pull the pump. So the pump looks like it's had some stuff rolling around inside of it, but for the most part it looks okay. Now see this damage right here? That is from that bearing being gone up top, and the timing chain's been hitting this. So it's a good idea we're changing that timing chain out, and I'm going to hit this with a file and some sandpaper and try to smooth that over before I put it back in. And let me grab a couple of tools and I'll get those guides out. Alright, so after thinking about it, I'm looking at the two, and I'm going to tell you the reasons why. Well, there is a metal bushing in there. So, the one that was in there really isn't one terribly bad. So, I think I'm going to stick with it, and I'll tell you why. Because the replacement is just plastic where you touch off for the adjuster, and the one that's in there from the factory has a piece of metal, and the angles are different too. They're not even, I mean, they're kind of way off. So I'm going to stick with the factory one here. I'm just going to put it back in. I don't want to take any chances with it not doing what I want. Having problems down the road. So let's put this one back in. Alright, let's leave that one in there. I feel safer. Alright, let's do the timing chain. Let's put that new timing chain in there. So I'm going to hang it down through. Actually, Actually, you know what? I'm going to feed a wire through. Move the chain. Bring it up. Let's get that timing chain gear in there. Stuff a rag here to hold that up from falling. Alright, the timing chain gear only goes on one way, so we cannot put this on wrong. It goes in like that. Chain goes on. And I want to pull that up tight. Okay. We'll put the rest of the gears on. And there's this one. Again, these can only go one way as well. And the washer and the nut. Again, impact gun. I will just put a little bit of torque on that. That's not what I want to happen. Tight. I want this tight. Alright, that's on there. Guess what? That's right. I gotta put the oil pump on before I put the gear on. So gotta come back off. It's not the way it always happens. This is not working. The gasket back on. The pump's got to go back in. Alright, pump's back on. didn't show you, but I did clean up the edge where that timing chain had hit that. I'm guessing it probably jumped a tooth maybe at one point. I don't know. I don't even know how this bike was running, honestly, the way it was. But yeah. So let's put this back together. Alright, put the big gear on first. And because the motor spun on me when I was trying to the last time, I gotta find the orientation where it was. And it only goes on one way, so alright, so I'm going to spin that nut with the impact gun. Install the new guide on this side, which I think I can just put in now. Shouldn't really get in the way of anything. Goes the other way, of course. Let's put this one in there for now. Okay, that's in there. Much better. That's in there. So I'm going to spin that up and reinstall the screen, the clutch, side cover, button it all up. I'm not going to video that. I've got way too much video on this bike already. So I'm going to, and there's other detailed videos out there of how to install a clutch and all that stuff. So I'm not going to get into that right now. But I'm going to cut it off here. I'm going to button this whole side up, get it all complete, and I'll come back when I'm done. Yeah, this is where we're at right now. So I have most of it assembled. The frame is completely painted, as you can see, and it's looking pretty sweet. Painted all the way to the back. Looks nice. I put these nice shock protectors on the racing, yellow to match the yellow of the plastics. They look pretty nice on there. Got the AIM protectors on, crash bars back on. I have the wiring harness back in. The oil tank is back on. I have these brackets on that I painted. I put the battery back in. I also painted and cleaned up the aluminum bracket that holds the battery in. Painted that, and well, I sanded it like I did with the rest of the aluminum with the palm sander, and then I clear coated it. Put some new hardware in on some of the spots. The wiring's all back in right now. It's not, the battery's not connected. The I did get the key off the plastics, so I have the key. So when I'm ready to give it its first pop, I'm all set to do it. Side cover's back on. I installed the clutch, timing chain guides, timing chain, put it all back together. I put the gasket on. I put the oil lines back on the tank and the cooler. Those are all installed. I drilled the frame out and re-tapped it for the foot peg. That's all done, as you can see down there. It was quite a pain in the butt, but I got it done. So that's done. What I'm going to eventually do is I'm going to put the peg on. I'm going to load those things up with permanent Loctite so they never come out again. That's the plan on that. I took the rear skid plate off, cleaned it, straightened it out a little bit. It was a little bent. Still bent, but I straightened it out as best I could because it's pretty thick aluminum. The swinger arm, I took my time, cleaned it up with some degreaser and a toothbrush. Came out pretty nice and clean. As well as the rear disc brake, cleaned that all up. I installed that clip right there. That was a some type of a hose or a wire harness holder for in a 95 Mustang, which I had laying around. The plastic clip that was there was broken, and I think it just pushed in a hole that was there. So what I did was I drilled the hole out, tapped it to a 6mm screw, and then I used that wire clip, it's metal, to hold the hose in place, and I screwed in a stainless steel screw. Worked out pretty nice. That's not going anywhere. It's a lot better than the factory thing that was there, that's for sure. I have to finish installing the disc brakes. I think I want to replace the hardware because it's going to show. Maybe put some stainless steel in there as well. I got the clutch cable to put on, which I haven't put on yet because there's a clutch cable holder that mounts here. This is the bottom half of it. It mounts here, and there's a wire with a loop on it that comes up, and it protects the clutch cable from the exhaust. And this bike is missing it, and that's what happened to the clutch cable when it hits the exhaust pipe. So, and it looks like this cable was new at one time. Well, replaced recently, I should say. So I don't want that to happen again. So I ordered it from Podzilla. I mean, it's a $5 item. It costs more to ship it, but I'm not going to throw a brand new cable in there and risk melting it on the pipe. So that's coming. So I can't tighten this up yet because I have to put that clip on there. Also, I don't have this clip mounted. I don't have the screw in this one and the screw in that one because that's where you mount the Nerf bar to. So those screws aren't in yet. But I don't want to put the Nerf bars in until I finish the motor and I get it running. I think that's it for now. But it's coming out pretty sweet. I'm happy with it. It looks good. I cleaned everything all up. Painted it. And I'm getting pretty close to being done with this. I think I'll do just one more video, and that'll be it on the 400EX, and then I'll move on to something else. Yeah, so I'm gonna call it quits here on video 6, and we'll probably do a video 7. And video 7 will be engine assembly, the final engine assembly, and possibly, yeah, final engine assembly and engine first start. And that'll be the end of it. I won't video the, putting all the plastics and stuff back on, but I'll post a finished walk around when it's all said and done, all together, before I take it for the first ride and get all dirty. I will do a walk around with it running and everything, and show you guys what it looks like. The plastics need a little bit of attention. They're not terrible. They just need to be cleaned up. And the way to clean those up is just wet sand them and then hit them with a heat gun. But when I say wet sand, I'm using like 800 grit paper, 1,000 grit paper. I'm not using anything coarse at all. And of course, hit it with a razor blade first to get the heavy stuff off, and then give it a quick wet sand, and then if you hit it with a heat gun, you can bring the shine back. It takes time, but that's the process I'm going to use. I won't video that. There's videos out there showing you how to do that kind of stuff. But I'm going to call it quits here on this video, and thanks for watching. Hit the bell notification, thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Tell your friends, repost. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching.